Okay. Thank you everyone and welcome to this introductory webinar on L2 Pro. Uh, I am Dr. Hemang Shah. So firstly, on behalf of our entire team, I welcome you to the inaugural workshop for L2 Pro, which stands for Learn to Protect, Secure, and Maximize Your Innovations. For the past 5 years, we have been engaging with startups through the Qualcomm Design in India Challenge. Now, in that, my chief role is to work on the engineering and the IP aspects of the program, which I lead. And over the years, we have incubated more than 60 startups. We have raised more than $80 million in funding. They've launched more than 22 plus products. Importantly, they have filed for 150 plus patents, with a majority of them filing first in India. And most importantly, in my opinion, they treat IP as an important aspect of their business strategy. Now, when discussing IP strategy with startups and SMEs, we realize that there are many aspects they were not aware of. And when they engage with IP professionals, like many of the speakers that we have today, the knowledge is shared, so the awareness increases. However, what happens when that IP person is not in front of them? So we thought it will be very helpful if the startups and SMEs had a ready reference. And that led to the genesis of L2 Pro. And now to share a bit more about what L2 Pro is and the entire program, I invite my colleague Anirban Mukherjee to share more details of that with me. So Anirban, over to you, please.
Thanks, Hemang, for your welcome address. Let me just share a very quick presentation on L2 Pro. Yeah, I think you can see my screen, right? Hemang has given has introduced L2 Pro, and repeating what Hemang said, L2 Pro is learn to protect, secure, and maximize your inventions. The L2 Pro IP e-learning platform has been designed to educate Indian startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, and innovators on the fundamentals of intellectual property. L2 Pro aims to increase awareness and aids in better understanding of the intellectual property domain. It tells innovators how to protect innovations with patents, use copyrights to protect software, develop trademarks, integrate IP considerations into company business models, obtain value from research and development efforts, enables innovators to access tools to help bring innovations quickly to market. Yeah, the L2 Pro is divided into 3 levels and has 11 lessons. The basic level covers IP fundamentals. It contains lessons on general introduction and patents, trademarks and geographical indicators, copyrights and neighboring rights, industrial designs protection, unfair competition, trade secrets, and plant variety protection. The intermediate level has lessons on securing your IP, market assessment, IP commercialization, and managing IP portfolios. The advanced level has lessons on access to funding and venture capital and IP for startups. It has lessons on introduction to standards and standard setting organizations and dealing with disputes, infringement, validity, and defenses and arbitration. The L2 Pro course structure is designed for easy learning. There are e-text for understanding concepts. You can see on the right side, there is a slide on the main criteria for getting a patent. It has 2 videos for each lesson. One introductory video which tells what you're going to learn in the lesson, and a quick 2-minute summary video which summarizes what you have learned. We have practical information on each of the subjects that you can access which gives links to government programs and how to access government schemes. There are quizzes all throughout each lesson. And at the end of each level, you need to give an assessment which grades the learner's knowledge and understanding of the topic. Those who successfully complete each level will get a certificate from the Cell for IPR Promotion and Management, CPAM, National Law University Delhi, and Qualcomm. You can access the e-learning platform either from the desktop or a mobile app. And the L2 Pro has been created in engagement with the government. There has been an impactful engagement with Department of Industrial Policy and Internal Trade and CPAM of DPIIT. It aligns with the government policies of Startup India and Make in India. As Hemang has said, Qualcomm has engaged with startups since 2016 through the Qualcomm Design in India Challenge and many other programs. And this program has been designed based on the requirement of startups. At the bottom, you can see a photo of launch of the L2 Pro e-learning platform by Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra, Secretary DPIIT, Alex Rogers, who is the Executive Vice President of Qualcomm, and Professor Ranveer Singh, Vice Chancellor, NLUD. These are our valued partners, DPIIT, CPAM, NLU Delhi, who have contributed to building this great e-learning platform. Ms. Pearl Sophie had consented to give the special address. And Nahid, is she there in the?
Yes, she is there. She is there, Hema.
Okay. Welcome, Pearl. To very quickly introduce Ms. Pearl, she is a postgraduate in pharmacy from India's premier institute, the National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. She is an experienced IP professional and registered patent agent. She has extensive experience in intellectual property and has worked with top pharmaceutical companies in the country. As part of the IP team, her responsibilities included conceptualizing intellectual property strategy for a product and product line, including the freedom to operate, invalidity opinions, patentability evaluation, patent filing and prosecution. She undertook people development by conducting training sessions across R&D and business, interacted with all stakeholders across the company, from business to scientists and manufacturing, about various IP aspects, analyzing both settlement agreements and licensing agreements. She also worked extensively on managing litigation and provided litigation support to the external counsels across the geographies. Thank you, Ms. Pearl, for consenting to give the special address. I am sure the audience will deeply appreciate your speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anirban. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. And I wish L2 Pro all the success they are looking for in connecting with most our startups, entrepreneurs, as well as students who are interested in taking an IP at a next level. So just a brief, so in the era of knowledge, the economic success of the nation is bolstered by a strong foundation in research and development. Innovation forms the backbone of any knowledge-based economy. As India steadily progresses in the league of 2050 innovative companies, the role of intellectual property
जब ऑन तो आ रहा है तो आ रहा चला जा रहा दैट इज प्रॉब्लम.
I don't hear audio.
Yes, yes, we can't hear audio.
Even there is some problem with the voice, I think.
Yes. We are not listening anything.
क्या है क्या बंद हो गया कि नहीं हुआ अब बंद हो गया
No, we can hear
hello
you.
Now
Yes,
yeah
it's okay.
yeah so
Yeah, please.
so was it audible or you didn't even hear me once.
Paul,
Yes,
we
we can
heard you
hear
at
you.
the beginning 2 minutes. We heard you for the beginning 2 minutes, but it may be good to start from the beginning itself.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'll start from the beginning. So
Yes.
in the era of knowledge, the economic success of the nation, including India, is bolstered by the strong foundation of research and development. Innovation forms the backbone of any knowledge-based economy. As India steadily progress in the league of top 50 innovative economies, the role of IPR becomes more crucial in encouraging innovation as well as providing adequate legal protection. The national IPR policy was introduced with an objective to spur creativity as well as to stimulate innovation. Recognizing this, government has taken several initiatives as well as policy reforming to promote culture of creativity and innovation in the nation. The Government of East India, with this objective, established a professional body called CPAM, Cell for Intellectual Property Management and Promotion and Management, to work on these objectives. CPAM has extensively worked towards creating awareness among various strata of societies. Since its inception, CPAM has conducted around more than 4,000 awareness programs covering around 4 lakh students across India. CPAM has been building partnership with various government organizations, private organizations to take the objectives of national IPR policy forward. Government organizations like Atal Innovation Missions have enabled CPAM to reach out to schools. Similarly, one of the partnership is with Qualcomm, through which CPAM wants to reach the future of a nation, whether it's students, research scholars, or the powerhouse of our economy, the SMEs or the startups on the other hand. With this motive, an online platform, which was IP learning platform L2 Pro, was developed in collaboration with NLU, Delhi, Qualcomm, to provide students and industries an accessible IP learning forum. This forum would surely help them gain access to the necessary skills and tools which will aid them to bring their innovation quickly to the market. It is heartening to see participation from various academic institutes and the rigor with this, with the rigor with which these institutes are taking up IP initiatives, both from point of view of awareness as well as creating and registering IPs. I am seeing quite a number of institutes who are already featuring in as #1 academic institutes in India. So it's good to connect to you and hope so L2 provides you the right platform you are looking forward to. All the best to all of you, as well as all the best to L2 Pro, so that we are able to achieve the objective with which we intended to bring L2 Pro to the startups.
Dear Pearl, thank you so much for those very encouraging comments. Really appreciate your time, and of course the input from CPAM was indeed very helpful. Both to NLU Delhi team as well as our team, like in shaping up the material. Also deeply appreciate the initiatives you have, especially for MSMEs and startups, and in ensuring that IP is at the forefront of their business strategy. So thanks so much, Paul. So moving forward, I think now it is time to get into the actual course content for L2 Pro. And here I will have myself and my colleague Prakash Balikundri. So Prakash, before we get started, can you share a couple of lines about yourself?
Prakash, you have to unmute yourself, please.
I'm very sorry. Thanks, Hemang. Once again, good morning to all and a warm welcome. I'm electronics engineer from background, and I started my career in Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, as systems engineer. I worked in embedded systems for software development, hardware development. Then I moved to Bosch. Initially, I worked in software development there for navigation systems. Then I switched to intellectual property there. And from there, I moved to Qualcomm. And in Qualcomm, I am working as patent counsel and responsible for IP and especially patent related activities for Qualcomm in India. Yeah, thanks, Hemang.
Thank you, Prakash. Host, can you please enable the sharing options? I trust you all can see my screen.
Yeah, Hemang.
Okay.
Yes, we can see.
So before we dive into the material, a couple of disclaimers that this material should be considered as our personal opinion and does not represent our employers. And this material is for general reference only and should not be treated as legal advice, like either by Qualcomm or by the presenters. Now, having said that, let's dive in. Now, IP is a very important, treated as different things. To me, it's a strategy. To some, it is a buzzword for businesses and startups. However, I fundamentally believe that a startup is formed on the premise that they are not happy with an existing problem, or they're not happy with the solutions, which are being offered in the market to treat that problem. And hence their unique take, and which is why they formed that company in the first place. So because they are going to have a unique take, it's very natural that they're going to come about with different innovations. And naturally, intellectual property will form a core part about their work. Now, how can they be more cognizant about intellectual property? Now, to understand that, you have to look at the role of intellectual property in growing your business. Like in today's world, especially, you have several factors that companies of all sizes face. So first is, if you're protecting your innovations, you can stop competitors from copying those innovations. So your market share, your margins can be protected. When I started getting involved with startups in India in about 2015, there were maybe a couple of VCs who were asking questions about IP filed by startups. Nowadays, I'm used to VCs. Sometimes they ask us about what is the quality of the IP that a startup is filing. So the patents filed by startups are helping them not only attract the funding, but also it drives the belief that the company's reputation is great. This company is not only working on a very cool and innovative product, but they are actually striving towards protecting their innovations. Another important aspect is collaborations through cross-licensing. And there'll be, especially in tech startups, you will have multiple companies, multiple folks who are having a similar take on the product. Now, if you can collaborate, if you can do cross-licensing, you both can create better products. Of course, if people are violating your rights, violating your intellectual property, you can take legal action against them. And finally, you can monetize your IP and earn revenue through transactions, such as assignments or licensing. Now, broadly speaking, there are two aspects of IP strategy, and I don't think that you have to choose one or the other. I think you have to look at both. So the first one is an offensive IP strategy, which is referred to the mode in which you can look to generate revenue by licensing, or either through enforcement of your IP rights. On the other hand, a defensive IP strategy is more of ensuring that your work is untouched, but also you may be creating barriers to entry. Now in India, we have various types of IP rights which are established by the government of India. Now we will not go through all of these, but we'll go through the ones which are especially relevant to startups. So having said that, let's begin and start with copyright. Prakash, over to you.
Thank you, Hemang. Intellectual property rights, it's a group of or types of rights. Important one is patent, but other kinds are copyrights, trademarks, industrial design, geographical indicator. But our focus will be on patents. Briefly, I touch upon copyrights and other IPRs. Copyrights. Next slide, please, Hema. Yeah, it covers literary, dramatic, or artistic work, the original work created by an author, including the software. The software code as it is covered under copyright protection. The originality means the creator creates the work without copying or taking from any other source, other copyrighted material or technologies or papers from any other source. It is to be a original work created by the author, and it is covered under copyright protection. Next slide, please. Yeah, the examples are literary work, an article written in a journal, a newspaper, a photo, a album, song, audio, movie. All of these come under copyright protection, and it is not mandatory to register the copyright in the copyright office. There is a copyright office, but the moment a work is created, by default it will have copyright protection. Still, people go to copyright office and register. That will help if there are any disputes. It will help to prove who owns the work. With that purpose, people may still register with copyright office, but it is not mandatory. By default, it will have copyright protection. Any work we create, the PPT, any article we write, everything is covered by copyright. Yeah, by default. Next slide, please. Yeah, one quiz. Is it mandatory or to insert the symbol C in your work? The options are yes, you cannot claim copyright in the work without it, or no, you can use it, but affixing the symbol may deter unauthorized copying. The second one is the right choice because any work created by default will have copyright protection. Whether you insert the symbol or not, still it is under copyright protection. Inserting the symbol, we may warn the potential copier or unauthorized copying. It will provide like a warning. It is under copyright protection and you cannot copy it. Yeah, the next type of IPRs are trademarks. Trademarks are the marks distinguish products or services from one entity to another entity. The purpose of trademarks is to ensure quality assigned to a brand or a company. For example, a Tata has a brand value and ensure quality of the product or services provided by that company. And to avoid illegal copying or creating similar sounding names or trademarks and confusing the customer is avoided. If there is similar sounding marks are used, the owner can take legal action. There was one interesting case. People would have heard about Lifebuoy soap, and another company started making soap and they named it Likeboy. Instead of LIFE, they used LIKE and boy, and it was very similar to the trademark already used. And the owner of the trademark Lifebuoy, they went to court and they won the case. The other product was stopped from using the name Likeboy because it was creating confusion among buyers. Yeah. Yeah, after patents, industrial designs are very, very important. And what comes under industrial design? It is given for a product, for the look and feel of the product, how it looks from outside. It doesn't involve any functionality, but the product, how it looks from outside. We have to give the actual drawings or the pictures of the product from different angles, normally from 6 different views. And the processing is very fast. The patent office doesn't do any exhaustive examination for this. They will do a very quick examination. And if something similar is not existing, and they will grant the industrial design. This is very important because it can be very easily identified on the competitor's product, whether they have copied our product. And also it is very easy to enforce because physically we can verify. It's very important. This is valid for 10 years and renewable for another 5 years. And after 15 years, it lapses. Yeah. It doesn't, important point is it doesn't involve any functionality. Yeah, the design must be new. It should be unique. The patent office will check for similarly existing designs. And if something unique is found in your design, then they will grant the design registration. Yeah. Yeah. Coming to the most important types of intellectual property rights is patents. When we hear the term patent, it will give a set of rights. The patents, the question is, can you think of an example of a patentable invention? In fact, we are surrounded by patents or patented products, starting from a toothbrush, a clock, a watch, a bicycle, a car, mobile phone, TV, computer. All these products have patents, and they may have multiple patents. For example, Bluetooth technology or any kind of technology, a mobile phone for thermal mitigation, a mobile phone for better battery management. It can have multiple technologies, multiple inventions patented. The patent gives a set of rights. The rights include excluding others or excluding everybody else from making, using, selling, importing the patented technology in the country where it is patented. The patents are always country specific. The patent granted in one country is not applicable in other countries. So if the owner wants to have protection in multiple countries, they have to go to each country, then file a patent, then get the grant there. They are referred as exclusionary rights because they exclude everybody else from the set of rights given. Yeah. Sometimes it may be necessary to include others' patents in our product. In such cases, we have to take license from the other parties. Without license, we will not be able to use any patent from the other parties. Yeah. Next slide, please. Hema?
Hemant, there seems to be some issue of connection at your end. Can you go to the next slide? Prakash, do you also have a slide set? Maybe we can ask the host to give you the sharing option, and you can come to the next slide.
Yes, I have the slide set.
Yashpal, can you give Mr. Prakash the sharing option? It seems there is some connection issue at Hemant's end.
I think some issue with Prakash only and Hema.
No, Prakash is visible, right? You can give the sharing option.
It is visible, but voice.
Yeah. Prakash, if you have the
Some issue with Hema.
if you have the PowerPoint, can you share? I think the hosts have given you the sharing option.
Yeah, I will share now. 1 minute.
Slide, I think. Hello.
Yeah, one minute. I'm sharing my desktop. Is it visible now?
I think some issue from your side. I think from my side. Right.
Prakash, it should be coming in quite soon, actually. Prakash, would you like to continue? Because as the presentation comes up.
Yeah, you please tell me when you see the presentation.
Yeah, I'll let you know, Prakash.
Yeah, patent rights are for 20 years from the date of first filing, and after 20 years, the patent rights expire and it will fall in public domain, and people are free to use it without any permission. And to maintain it for 20 years, the owner has to pay maintenance fees to the patent office. Otherwise, it will expire. And once it expires, or it lapses, people are free to use it without permission. Still, it has not come up.
It has not come up, Prakash. I think I would suggest you continue speaking.
Or shall I?
Anirban, I can't see the screen, slides. Would you be able to see?
No, I'm not able to see. And I actually, I'm just going on mute, and I'll just call. Prakash,
Yeah.
can you email me the presentation so that, I think I have a better connection and maybe I can.
I sent you the link just now.
Oh, okay. So I'll just download it and I will.
Yeah.
It has not yet. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe meantime I will keep talking.
Maybe you keep.
Yeah. What can be patented? There may be some exceptions, but typically what are patented are an apparatus or device or composition that comprises the invention. For example, a mobile phone with a better feature of like thermal management or battery saving features, a method of using or implementing the invention. For example, a method of meeting emission standards in a vehicle, a process of producing or making the invention. For example, a process of producing a medicine, and product produced by such process. That means the medicine itself, the process of making medicine is patentable as a process, and the product itself which comes out of the process is patentable. For example, a tablet, a medicine, drug, syrup, anything. Yeah, all these are patentable.
Yeah, I'm just sharing the screen. Yeah.
Okay.
So folks, just
can you see my screen now?
I can see it now.
Okay. Yeah. Prakash, please go ahead.
Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah. What can the owner of the patent do? What rights he gets? Right to transfer the patent. Like any movable or immovable property, the intellectual property rights also can be transferred. In sense, it can be sold, it can be licensed to other parties for royalty. Right to assert ownership. Once the patent is granted, the owner can claim the ownership, and also on the product it can be mentioned that it is patented with a patent number. Right to prevent unauthorized use. Once the patent is granted, he can stop everybody else from using, making, selling, importing with all those activities. Yeah. Next slide, please. What are the criteria for patentability? There are three mandatory criteria for patentability. The first one is novelty. Second one is not obvious or inventive step, what we refer as. Then utility. Novelty is defined as what is already known to public in any form, anywhere in the world. That will kill the novelty. Any form means it can be a printed document, it may be a patent, it may be a newspaper article, anything known to public that will destroy the novelty. Not obvious. It should not be obvious to the people working in same technology with reasonably same experience. That is the requirement. Utility is, it should have industrial utility in at least one industry. It should be possible to use it in any industry. That is the third criteria. Then fourth one is fully described. The invention has to be fully described in the patent, so that people working in same technology going through the patent, they should be able to completely understand the invention. Yeah. Next slide, please. Some brain here. What can be patented? Choices are technology like Bluetooth, literary work, TV production, mathematical formula. The right answer is technology like Bluetooth, because others they may not be patentable or may come in different kinds of IPR. Literary work comes under copyright protection. TV production also comes under copyrights. Mathematical formula is not patentable. Mathematical as in any kind of IPRs. Yeah. Next slide, please. What is the role of Indian Patent Office, or for that matter, any patent office? The patent offices, they act as a repository for the information, what patent applications are filed, who are the inventors, who are the firms owning those patents, who has paid the maintenance fees, which patents are active, which are not active. So they keep all the information, and they also, once they receive the patent applications, they examine them, and if they meet the patentability criteria, then they will grant the patent. These are the responsibility or role of the patent offices. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah, the procedure for filing a patent till grant. The provisional specification one, the author is not clear what needs to be protected, but the invention is more or less clear. The provisional application is filed without claims. Then we get time 12 months to file the complete specification. Before the expiry of 12 months, we file the complete specification. Then the patent office publishes it after 18 months. Then they take it up for examination. Once the applicant requests for examination by paying additional fees, examination is conducted. Then first examination report is given to the applicant. During all this process, it is called only a patent application, not a patent. So patent application is examined. Then patent office, based on the criteria, novelty, inventive step in the industrial application, they take a decision whether it meets the criteria or not. If it meets the criteria, then they accept and grant a patent. Otherwise, they will reject. And once it is granted, only then it is called as patent. And then the 20 years start from here, from the date of filing. Yeah. Next slide, please. Patents are territorial in nature. That means patent filed in and granted in India will have rights, all those rights only in India. People from other countries, they are free to use it without the owner's permission. There is also a central filing system called through Patent Cooperation Treaty. There is a central office called WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. The applicant can file the application with WIPO and designating the countries in which he is interested to protect. Then WIPO will give a date of filing, which will be binding for other national patent offices. They will give a search report. Then also with additional fees, examination report. Then the owner can take a call whether to continue with this or not. This is called a PCT filing system. Next slide, please.
Yeah.
One last point, maybe the advantage of PCT filing or with a centralized filing is it will stop duplication of work going into initially into national phases, then filing in national patent offices. You can do a central filing, then come to the national phase filing for individual countries based on the search and examination report. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Anirban, can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So the India government has introduced some very interesting, schemes and incentives for startups. Of particular note is the Startup IP Protection Scheme. So let's take a look at what this scheme covers for startups. Next slide. Of particular interest is the expedited examination procedure. So if you file for the patents as a startup, the India Patent Office essentially is going to fast track and treat your applications at a priority. So a fun note is that an application for a process patent was granted in a record time of 4 months. So imagine from you filing the application to receiving a grant in this record time. The other absolute request or absolute incentive which startups have is a rebate in the filing fees. Now, startups qualify for more than 80% reduction in the filing fees. Now, we cover all these schedules in our practical information section. Next slide, please. Then another excellent advantage that startups should take of is IP facilitators. Now, there are patent facilitators who will assist the startups in filing the IP. So these folks will work on your IP strategy. They will do their filing, but they will not bill you. They will bill the government, right? And you can find them again for both patent as well as industrial design facilitators. They also have trademark facilitators. Now you can find this entire list. We cover it in the app in our practical information section, but you can also find this on the Startup India website. Next slide, please. Now here we cover basically everything that we have shown you so far is actual course material from L2 Pro. So here you can find, let's say, the resources which are applicable to the patent fees, the facilitators for patents and trademarks, and other.
Hemang, we are losing you here.
Ma'am, we can't hear you.
Yeah. Hello.
I think the line is cut.
Yeah. Yeah. Prakash, is there a way you could go through the rest of the presentation?
Can you share this then, Anirban?
Excuse me?
Can you share this slide now?
It is. I think I'm sharing the slide, Prakash. Are you not able to?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm able to see it. Yeah. Yes. Hemang was telling. Government of India has started a lot of initiatives for startups. Even in filing, the filing fees are very less compared to the corporates. Patent fees, then patent facilitators, they have organized for patent facilitators. A list of facilitators is available in the patent office website. The drafting fees are paid by government for startups. They have to pay only the filing fees. Any additional cost for drafting or preparing the documentation for filing, it is paid by the government or patent office directly to the patent facilitators. So list of facilitators is available. Similarly, there are trademark facilitators, and the scheme itself initiated by the government, it is available in this link. Yeah, what are the facilities provided for startups in filing, in examination, in grant, and the expedited examination is available for startups. And in one of the cases, they have granted patent in 4 months from the date of filing. That is very, very fast. Within 4 months, they have granted a patent for the startup through expedited examination. Yeah. Next slide, please. Hello.
Anirban, can you change the slide, please?
Can't see the slide changing.
Okay, maybe I'll just go through the next slides on.
Prakash, we are done with the L2 Pro presentation. So now let's turn the floor over to the experts that we have. And Naib, the request for you to moderate that, please.
Thank you, Mark. Now I request Tabreji to share his views on IP and its importance for academia and students and startups. Tabreji, over to you. Can you share your views, sir? Tabreji, Amar. Can you hear me, sir? Yes, Tabreji, over to you, sir. Please go ahead. Tabreji.
बात नहीं करो.
Okay.
Hello, yes.
Yes, sir. Over to you. Please share your views, sir. Yes, I can hear, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Yes, can you hear me, sir? You have to switch off your video, sir. Your network is. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Tabreji.
Okay, thank you for inviting me for this. Yeah. So, for equality, I'm audible to you. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So it is very great to see that the awareness program happening, and so we have seen a lot of participation about this program. because one of the aspect of IPR is regarding the awareness, and then a lot of violations are happening because of awareness. People feel that they have the right to copy and also right to share without understanding the kind of investment behind those IPRs. And also because in India, IPR is not very well recognized, because if you see the data about the patent per million,
Nahid,
I think we lost. Yeah.
maybe you can ask the next speaker, and then we wait for
Right.
and
for awareness program, because once there is a lot of awareness about the IPRs, that at least it will be going to reduce the kind of violation happening. And also sometimes because of the lack of the awareness, people sometimes do inventions but not approach
some issue with the Tabreji network. Now I request Mini Srivastava, Professor Mini Srivastava, to share her views on the importance of IP and how L2 Pro going to help with the academia and students. And also she can, share her doubts or any questions with the panelist, Prakash or Hema and Anirban. They will reply. Professor Mini, you have 3 minutes to share your views, please. Go ahead. Over to you.
Thank you, thank you, Nahid sir. First of all, am I audible as well as visible?
Yes, absolutely fine. Go ahead, please.
All right. So I will just quickly tell certain things about, first of all, respected panelists, all participants, including MSMEs, SMEs, startups, and most importantly, my dear students. I would like to most humbly thank the L2 Pro team, that is CPAM, Qualcomm, CIIPC, and SHAM, for giving me the opportunity to speak at this August gathering on this very interesting course, L2 Pro. I am an assistant professor teaching various aspects of IP at Amity Law School, Noida, which is one of the flagship institutions of Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, based at Noida. It is India's leading research and innovation-driven private university, and it is part of Amity Education Group, having 11 universities nationally and 150 plus institutions across India and 17 campuses across the globe. And we are a home to 1,75,000 plus students, pursuing 300 plus programs from nursery to PhD. And we at Amity Family are constantly working towards the ever-inspiring dream of our Honorable Founder President, Sir, Dr. Ashok Chauhan. The dream is to transform the world through the tool of education. Coming to how my university and my institution takes IP. Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, which is AUUP as we call it, has created an enabling environment to foster research culture, providing required research infrastructure. We have high-value research projects, dedicated IPR cell for faculties, researchers, and students for patent filing and commercialization, Directorate of Innovation and Technology Transfer, Innovation Facilitation Centers. We have filed over 400 patents have been published in last 5 years, and over 800 patents have been filed in 2019. A large number of faculty have received awards for innovation and support. And particularly as far as my own institution, Amity Law School, Noida is concerned, we understand the relevance of IP for everyone, right from individual to businesses to society to nation to globe. Hence, we try to instill the relevance of IPR into students in different ways. Like IP is one of the compulsory papers. Every student studies it. Then we also offer IP as a specialization where a student gets to study 8 to 10 subjects of IP law. And our LLM program, one of the specializations that we offer at LLM is also IP. Also, the Corporate Resource Center, which is the placement cell, there also we frequently interact with industry leaders from various fields, including intellectual property for internships and placements, joint researches, co-curricular activities like guest lectures, webinars, seminars, conferences, moot courts, etc. So you see, our university and institution understands the value of IP in national development and hence takes it very seriously. Now, coming to the participants today. Let's begin with certain basic and practical question. Why is IP relevant for businesses? So let us compare that there are two countries, country A and B. Country A, which is what values and protects invention and innovation through a robust legal IP-centered regime. And country B does not take its inventions and innovations seriously and does not have any robust legal system. Now, my question is, where would you, as a startup, as an SME, as an MSME, would you like to operate your business, country A or country B? There are a number of studies across the world, including that of WIPO, that IP has a direct contribution in nation's path of development. Imagine you are in country A, which has a strong IP regime. Then as a business person, what all you can get? You will have an improved reputation and product image. Your assets will have a better legal protection. You will have a higher market share by driving illegal competitors out of market. Competitors behaving illegally can be legally sued, and suitable remedy like compensation, temporary and permanent injunctions, declaration, specific performance, destruction of spurious goods, etc. These are the kind of legal remedies that you can seek from the courts. Your workers will have higher levels of income, skills, and living standards. And most importantly, if you understand the relevance of IP truly and deeply, and also if you understand the real and potential worth of your product, process, brand, and business, then you as a business owner can monetize your IP like trademarks, patents, industrial designs, copyrights, GIs in an unimaginable manner. I mean, sky's the limit. If you understand the worth of your product and if you understand the nitty-gritties of IP, you can go from bottom to anywhere. So all the big brands that you see, they all had started in a room, and then they kept growing. They understood their IP concepts very well, and they understood the worth of their invention, and they kept on building over it. So what you see as Facebook and Google and all the big brands, Microsoft, all of them had started as a very small ventures, but they kept on believing in their product and they kept on understanding the importance of IP. So it can, your brands can go anywhere. So my advice to all the MSMEs, SMEs, and other business organizations is that understand the relevance of IP for business clearly and deeply. Pursue the L2 Pro course as it covers IP from law, management, and costing and finance aspects. Be conscious of whatever your business is creating and take practical steps to protect your logos, manuals, and other written material, products, processes, etc. Build a robust IP strategy in line with overall business strategy. Explore the unexplored yet huge area of monetization of IP through assignments and licenses. And most importantly, contribute significantly in national development, which, as responsible citizens, is our
Professor
solemn
Mani,
duty.
I have to stop hard. And, yeah. Thank you
I'm
so
done
much.
with my
If you want to make final comment, please make a final comment. And
yes. So my the comment was actually what I just said, that as responsible citizens, we also should not only think about ourselves, but we should also think about our nation, how we can repay to it. So we should laud the efforts of Government of India in recent years that it has taken, and we all should come forward and pitch in to the best of our ability and potential. Thank you. My question, which I would like, though I think in some manner it has been addressed by Himang sir and other people, that how IP, this course is going to be relevant for law graduates as well as non-law graduates. That is my question. Thank you.
thank you, Professor Mani. We will take these questions maybe after 4-5 speakers. Thank you so much. Now I request Professor Ranjan to speak. Professor Ranjan Tandon, over to you. You have 3 minutes to share your views and questions. Professor Ranjan, are you there? Okay. Now I request Vinita, Miss Vinita Krishna. Vinita ji, over to you.
Okay, hello, I'm Dr. Vinita because I'm also PhD.
Yeah.
I am a
Thank
faculty. I'm a faculty at Srinathar University. Okay, a very warm welcome to each one of you present here, or whoever is attending this program. So I am a faculty at the School of Management and Entrepreneurship at Srinathar University. And just a brief introduction. Our university is a pretty new university. It has just completed 10 years, but we have, in this 10 years journey, we have received the IOE status. And very proudly we say that in university, Srinathar University, we have a full-fledged IPR course curriculum, which runs specifically from the management department. Because if you look at this teaching of IP, still it is very lopsided in the domain of IP law. So we have digressed in a major departure, and what I am doing currently, I am the person handling their teaching. So my perspective is teaching the students from the strategy, HR, finance, and marketing aspects. So we are trying to integrate IP into each of these domains, and we are trying to help the business students specifically. Of course, the legal part is there, but we are helping them in deriving new business models, how it is important for product development, what are their IP strategies. And in course of, since Srinathar University is a totally research-driven university, and this research is not theoretically oriented, rather it is solution-based research. So to tell you very honestly, our students at the UG level, they are doing huge and interesting projects on IPR. IPR in which they bring about some models, which are then implemented and validated across companies and the small business. We also have an AIC, Adult Incubation Center. So there also we mentor the students to raise awareness through lectures. Then we help them in building their IP. And very recently, since the last year, we have formalized. We did have an IPR setup for the last 5 years, but very honestly, in the year 2020, it has taken a full-fledged form in the shape of IPR cell, IPR committee, and then the processing of IP filing is getting streamlined. So our number of patents are quite modest right now because we're just 4 to 5 years into it, but still we have more than 20 patents and more than 35 patents in line, of which 5 to 10 are granted, and we are working very hard in the area of capacity building for the faculties, because if the faculties know and if they're well aware of it, there's nothing better than them disseminating this knowledge. In this context, I just won the AICT sponsored FDP program on innovation and intellectual property, and we had a huge success in October last year for 5 days, in which I invited a host of speakers from all over India, and for 5 continuous days, starting from the basics of IP to IP analytics, we concluded this program, and we trained around 150 faculties across India. And some of them also came forward for help for the building about their IP cell. Now, regarding the courses which we are taking up, these courses are quite different from what you hear in the other universities or other institutions. This is my personal interest. Plus, I feel that there are other areas more than just doing patenting and all. Like, for example, I have a course on importance of GI as a business and economic tools. So there's a very short course of say 1.5 to 2 credit course. And that takes you on the developmental aspect of GI. Then we have measuring the social impact of GI, an uncharted and a less taken up course. Then we have courses on technology travel. The basics we are instilling in the students, and then we have advanced courses on that when they are into the nitty-gritty of all those
Dr.
things.
Vinita, I have to stop in 1
Sure.
minute. Please make your final comment, please.
Definitely. So my final comment in this case is, apart from the industries, the SMEs and the organizations, for them it is definitely important, but our emphasis should be now more on making universities as the engines of growth. And for that, we are trying to sending across the message that the more academia comes into it, I think that will generate even more growth in IP. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your valuable input. Now I request Dr. Bhupesh Sharma to share his views, and also if he can focus on how it is going to help the startups or MSME. It will be very nice. Thank you so much. Over to you, sir, for 3 minutes.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Bhupesh. You had already named this. First of all, I would like to explain about my organizations. Our institute working in the same domain since last 7.5 decades. And we are not only catering for government agency, but also organized sectors, unorganized sectors, and including since 1 decade when we started our incubators, we are able to support small innovators also, including non-qualified workers, those who are really can create impact in the society. They want to do something, they can develop their POC, they can come, they can join our incubation programs, and they can deliver the product in market. This is how we are doing innovations and other things also. And you see, I'm directly focusing on our incubation program and IP program also. In our institute, all sort of domains we are working here. 500 faculty, science and technology related issues we are handling since last 7.5 decades. So with respect to the knowledge domains, we are working for ISRO, we are working for I had myself itself lead 2 Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica. So we are fully aware what are the science and how the science can run. I myself donated my career 2 decades in research and development. When we do invention and when we do innovation, there are a little bit difference. When we do inventions, we always make a big program, and sometimes that big programs remain in the books or in the form of reports. And sometimes when we register IP on that inventions, maybe not run in the market. That is a very important issue, how you can take the things in the market. The innovation is that a person, those who can quickly gain market share, register their IP, then I think it is a really workable model. On this model, since 2009 onwards, we are able to register more than 50 IP, 50 patents, and out of 50 patents, 5 are really C-level and creating impact in the society. So this is how we are doing, supporting various innovators. Right now, I'll tell you one of our case. We are going to develop a biocompatible body plants. Sorry, right now we are in the right now in the market, biocompatible body implants is there. Now we are going to develop bioactive body implants. So we had registered first IP, and then in the country there is no bioactive body implants is there. There are professors from AIIMS, professors from one of the university, and myself is there. We are able to develop that things. So that IP will only workable, only valuable when we are able to take the market share. That is the most important things. So with this, I think I can little bit brief. In our institute, more than 50 people are working in material science division. They regularly work on various type of research and development product directly related to the industrial output. Sometimes related with the government support, sometimes related with the organized sector support, sometimes with the MSME also. In a month, we caters almost 3,000 query related to MSME, related to organized sectors. So on the basis of that, we are able to sustaining in 500 people's life, 350 in Delhi and 150 at Bangalore also. So without any taxpayer money, we are sustaining in a sustainable model. So with this, I feel we can create, we are regularly create impact when thanks to our PM, who are able to reduce the gap between the faculty and the industry. Generally, faculty remain in the ourselves in the cello, and industry
Sir, I have
people's.
to, sir, I have to stop you. Please make your final comment, sir.
Okay. So with this, I think we are regularly doing such type of activity, and here itself we have huge supports available for various innovators, startups, and MSME sectors also. Thanks for giving ASSOCHAM opportunity to deliver the things.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Hemang, would you like to make any observation and comments so far? Hemang, are you there? Okay.
Nahid,
yeah.
Nahid, it would be good that we go. I mean, like all the discussants are given an opportunity to speak, and I see some very interesting questions in the chat box.
Right.
So we can, yeah.
Okay. Now I request Mr. Niaz to share his views. Niaz, over to you, please. Niaz Ahmed.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. So I will try to kind of restrict myself in the next 3 minutes, considering there are a couple of other speakers and we're running out of time. So let me introduce our host university, Jain deemed to be university. It is among the top 5 private universities in Karnataka as per ranking in 2019, and it is ranked number 6 among private universities as per rankings in 2018. So Jain is accredited by the NAC with grade A. And of course, research and development in frontier areas, industry linkages, collaborations, entrepreneurship, sports are some of the leading activities of the university apart from education. We are proud to have 21,000 plus students studying in 7 faculties. We have more than 1,480 foreign students from 43 countries studying in Jain. We have over 7 students who have represented India in Olympic Games. We have supported over 86 ventures through Chenraj Roychand Center for Entrepreneurship and JU Incubator, which I represent. We have kind of funded a lot of research projects from the defense and leading government agencies. So we have close to 3,700 plus research publications, 30 plus patents, international patents specifically, 24 published, 11 are granted, and proud to say 3 have been kind of commercialized. So we have dedicated research center established for nanomaterial science, Center for Emerging Technologies, disaster mitigation, fire and combustion research, social science and education, ancient history and culture. So technology-enabled learning and digital initiatives and paperless administration are some of the leading activities which we have kind of adapted much before pandemic hit us, and that's how we were kind of there in place. And coming to my organization, Jain University Incubation Center, we are a not-for-profit startup incubator accelerator. We also have a seed fund. We are supported by NSTEDB, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. So let me just give you some of my inputs where what we have experienced while interacting with students, entrepreneurs, and faculties. So usually, as you are all aware, that IP is created with an objective to protect the innovation, right? And such an innovation can be commercialized either by an innovator himself, say if he's an individual person who's created this IP, or through a commercialization partner. Who are these commercialization partners? So they can be the organization where the innovator is associated with or is working for. The IP can be licensed to another organization, or the IP can be licensed to an entrepreneur who is willing to take the IP, convert it into an idea, into a product, and take it to the market. And we have worked with organizations like CFTRI and Jain University itself, where we have supported or spread awareness about entrepreneurs taking up some of these IPs which are readily available and take them to the market as entrepreneurs themselves. So an incubator can be a good place to have such conversations and also do matchmaking between the IP creators and as well as IP commercialization partners, which I just mentioned. Also, I mean, it was briefly touched, but still I would like to cover that as one of these common questions which I get from entrepreneurs and faculties is, does the government provide any funding support for filing patents or any other kind of support? And as it was already mentioned, both the state government and central government provide support in terms of some of the things which was mentioned, but also in terms of reimbursing the cost of patent filing if you have not already kind of going through some of these schemes which was already mentioned. And we are working closely with Startup Karnataka to support some of the entrepreneurs for patent filing reimbursements. So it was already mentioned, the empaneled patent attorneys, trademark facilitators are already there. And so we at Jain University and the incubator take IP creation and commercialization very seriously and have supported a lot of innovators and entrepreneurs alike in both these aspects. I'm glad and thank ASSOCHAM for inviting me, but we are also glad to be a part of the L2 Pro initiative, and we would look forward to contribute more further in making India the IP capital of the world. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Niyaz. Now, Arjun, Mr. Arjun.
Yes, sir. Thank you very
Arjun
much.
Bala, over to you, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, you able to hear me?
Yes, very much. Please go ahead.
Firstly, I would like to congratulate CPAM, ASSOCHAM, NLU, Delhi, and Qualcomm on the launch of the L2 Pro IP learning platform, which is an excellent resource for startups. I have myself signed up on the platform and I've informed my colleagues in the startups who I'm working with to also sign up for the course. I'm Arjun Bala, patent attorney and certified patent valuation analyst, and the founder of MetaEdge IP Strategy Consulting LLP. I have helped startups get over 100 US patents granted at a success rate of 92%. I've been asked to represent the GinServe Technology Incubator. GinServe is affiliated with the JSS Group of Institutions and was founded in 2010. It has a 55,000 square feet facility at the heart of Bangalore. It has been focusing on deep technology startups, particularly in software and electronics. Currently, GinServe is setting up an IoT lab and running an accelerator program called Gincelerator. GinServe has conducted over 650 events for startups, including IPR workshops in collaboration with other ecosystem partners like TiE Bangalore and Indian Angel Network. One of the events was an international patent strategies where the speakers included myself and a US patent attorney. However, apart from IPR awareness through workshops, one key thing that GinServe has done differently is by incubating an IP firm within their premises. Hence, we have been conducting one-on-one consultations with startups at various stages for advising them on patentability, freedom to operate, and international patent portfolio building. And we have been partnering with Startup Karnataka for enabling startups to avail of the patent incentives from the Karnataka government, which is up to rupees 2 lakhs for an Indian patent and up to rupees 10 lakhs for a patent outside India, such as in the USPTO or the EPO. Currently, as part of the Gincelerator Accelerator program, startups are undergoing mentoring on their IP strategy, including identifying their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and building an international patent portfolio which will develop sustainable competitive advantage and increase their valuation, which helps with fundraising. Saying that you have an innovation but don't have IPR is like saying you went to college but you don't have a degree. IPR is very important for creating wealth through intangible assets as well as the progress of society. As Mr. Hemang Shah from Qualcomm mentioned, venture capitalists are not only looking into the quantity of the patents filed, but also looking into their quality. The only way we can compete globally is not only through quantity, but in quality and innovation, as well as by building high quality patent portfolios. And that cannot be achieved by compromising on the quality of patents, which require the expertise of patent professionals. In the SIPP scheme, the facilitators get paid about rupees 10,000 at the time of filing the patent application, another 10,000 at the time of disposal, totally 20,000. However, in the scheme by the Karnataka government, a startup can engage with an IP firm of their choice, and they are reimbursed up to rupees 2 lakhs for an Indian patent and up to 10 lakh for a foreign patent. I would recommend that startups take advantage of government schemes that give them flexibility and reimbursement of patent expenses, and also apply for the Qualcomm Design in India Challenge, where winners get reimbursement for patent filing in India or the USPTO. That's it from me, and thank you very much. Congratulations to L2 Pro. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Arjun. Thank you so much. Now I request Nitin Mali ji to share. Nitin ji, over to you.
Hello, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir. Please go ahead. Yes, please go ahead, sir. Please. Can I hear you?
Yes. First of all, I will congratulate all the 4 organizers for organizing such a nice event. It is very much essential for startups, students, and entrepreneurs to make aware about the intellectual property rights. So here, myself, Nitin, I'm from Midcon Technology Business Incubator, Pune. Here in Midcon, we are working mainly in the field of agriculture, biotechnology, and pharmaceuticals and health. Where we are incubating the innovative ideas from idea to commercialization. We have incubated more than 150 different ideas, and right now we are having turnover of around 160 million or more. So basically, when we think about the IPR, mainly we come across about the patents are more important, or it is general perspective, like patents are more important, like that. But I think all the IPRs are equally important because each and every IPR has own importance. Like if we take a case of Microsoft, they are having more copyright and trademarks and trade names than the patents. So and they are having their valuation is totally depending or totally of the major contribution of the intangible assets of that company. So yes, for an entrepreneur, IPR or protection of IPR is very much important. So this is just a nice initiative because this will create an ecosystem where for an entrepreneur to know about these IPRs and how to protect and what kind of IPR there. So it is just a nice initiative by the organizers. So
thank you, Nitin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your valuable words. Now I request Amit Sharma to share his views. Amit Sharma, over to you, please. Amit.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope my audio and video is clear too, right?
Yes. Absolutely fine.
So once again, good afternoon, everyone, and I want to thank Ashcom for inviting me over. And this was really an enlightening session, and I congratulate Qualcomm for the launch of this L2 Pro. So my name is Amit Sharma. I am project manager at Technology Business Incubator, located within the campus of Kite Group of Institutions in Ghaziabad, and we are jointly supported by DST and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. And we are extensively working to create an ecosystem within the state of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand by conducting various events like entrepreneurship awareness camps for the students and various faculty development programs for the faculties. And during my interaction with the students and faculties, I find it out. But before that, I would like to tell you that we are extensively working only in the technology domain. And when we go across the students and faculties, we find out that they are okay with the technology and everyone is having some ideas. But the main issue is they don't have awareness of whether this is patentable, whether this is already in the market or it is marketable or not. I suppose this L2 Pro will help them out in understanding that whether whatever idea they have, it can be taken to the next level or not. Okay. And not to take much of the time, I have certain questions. I think the speakers and the experts will clear that. One is this L2 Pro. What is the duration of the course, which is not being touched upon, and also the language in which the course is available, because we have certain incubators who are from rural background and are not very comfortable with the language English. So is there an alternate language option also? And also I would like to mention that the entrepreneurs we have at our incubation are first generation entrepreneurs whose average age is 25 years. So this L2 Pro platform is going to be very helpful for them, because technology wise they are very good, but when it comes to patenting, so they are always having certain questions and issues. So thank you.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you so much. Now I request Alok Jha to share his views. Alok Jha, over to you.
Thank you, Nahid ji and Ayushi ji and Astrocam for inviting me. So indeed, this is a wonderful initiative. I am Alok Nikhil Jha, Chief Operating Officer at IIITD Innovation Incubation Center. We are a deep tech incubator promoted by IIIT Delhi, which is a research-based institute, and we are supported by DST, Ministry of IT, and Government of Delhi. So since we are deep tech incubator, we always focus on the startups having some intellectual capability, either in the product or in their team, in their offerings. And we are very focused sectors, consider focused sectors in the technology and deep tech domain. So relevance of IP is very, very important. We have one incubated company which is supporting on the intellectual property rights. And from the academic side, from the academic side, we have certain courses which has got research component directly for the students at the first and second year, and they are motivated to file the patents around it, and then at the incubation we help them grow. So we have 3 such companies which came from the student and faculty. They started as a research, they filed their patent, in parallel they started working on their venture, and by the student graduated after 4th year, we got him incubated. So this is a wonderful ecosystem and need for the hour, and definitely the L2 Pro platform is going to help a lot. Having an e-learning platform on these things will useful in creating the awareness. The support from the government, the association with Qualcomm is going to give a very practical interface. I really congratulate to the whole team behind this conceptualization and development of the program, and my good wishes. And I foresee that there's a lot of scope wherein we can motivate the entrepreneurs, startups, the faculty, researchers, students, and any other person who bring value on the table, and we can help and handhold them to convert that value into an intellectual property that can be commercialized or that can add as a value system for the nation or of the organization wherever they are. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Alokji. Thank you so much for your valuable inputs. Hemang, now I request if Tavredji can make final comment. Tavredji, are you online? Tavredji, can you hear me? Yeah, please go ahead, sir. Tavredji, we can't hear you. Okay. Hemang, there are few questions in the chat box.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I
And
was.
if you can take up those questions, and also speakers has
Hello?
raised few questions.
Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead,
Hello?
Tabreji. Yes, we can hear you, sir. Tabreji.
If they're dialing in through the phone, there's a very long delay.
Okay.
So dialing through broadband is the best, but if you're dialing through the call-in details, right, it has a very long latency.
Okay. Okay, Hemang, over to you now. I think Tabreji not able to connect properly, so you can go ahead, please. Over to you.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a question that Utkarsh Garg has asked, but even otherwise, right? So, what is the importance of patents for startups and for innovation? So, in our experience, and this applies not just to startups but actually to corporations of all sizes. If you're working on something which is pretty unique, it's a different take on an existing problem, or you found a new opportunity, it is natural that you're going to come about with innovations. And for you to be able to, actually have the best chance of making a business around that innovations, in my opinion, patents are a very good vehicle, if applicable. Right now, as my colleague Prakash had mentioned, there are criteria for getting patents. Now, if you meet those criteria, and let's say if you have those patents granted, then you can enjoy certain rights. And those rights are actually very valuable, of course, for startups, but even for companies of all sizes. You can create barriers to entry. You can create, depending on which data you read, 95% of startups fail or they pivot. So even if that happens to your company, right, where you are looking at a different line of operation, you can still your intellectual property to use. You can license it to someone else. You can sell your IP assets. Nowadays, you can get collaterals from banks, right, by putting your patents as the security. So there are numerous advantages, and hence you always have to look at the importance of IP from a business perspective. And there was also, I'll move on. There's one question which we received from one of the experts with regards to L2 Pro. You can access it for free on the website and on the apps. Right now, the language which is supported is English, but it's a very good input, to know that, there might be a demand for other languages also. We will certainly keep that in mind. And the other thing is, especially for startups, actually for anyone, we've written it in a manner that it's easy to follow. Like, again, my personal opinion is a lot of IP material tends to be academic. It can be very legal, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a legal document. But we've tried to demystify a lot of those elements as applicable for startups and SMEs. Right? You'll find the details which are particularly relevant, or they are presented in a way that the important things are highlighted for you to take the appropriate business decisions. Prakash, if you don't mind, there's a question on the lifetime for copyrights and trademarks. Would you like to cover that?
Yeah, the lifetime for trademarks, it is initially 10 years, but it can be renewed for any number of times. So trademark can be kept alive for very, very long time. And for the copyright, the lifetime is 60 years after the death of the author. So if somebody writes an article or a novel or a painting, it is protected after the death of the author or the artist for about 60 years as copyright protection. Yeah. Hemang?
Prakash, there is also another question on some of the companies using my trademark. How will we take an action against them? I mean, you know, if there is something that you can speak
Okay.
about this.
Maybe to start with, you can get in touch with him or send a notice telling that the mark is registered in your name and they are using it without permission, and ask them to stop it, or they may get back to you, maybe telling that it is different or some explanation. Then if it is not resolved at that level, maybe you have to approach some legal forum, court. Yeah.
Prakash, there's another question. If we have to apply for design protection license, who should we contact?
There is a design registration office, like a patent office. So there is a procedure. There are certain forms. You have to fill up the forms and enclose the documents, which include the drawings or the actual photographs of the product from different views. You need to give like at least 6 views from 6 directions and top and bottom view, and submit the documents, and the design registration office will go through, do a very quick examination, and if there is nothing similar existing, then they will grant the design registration. It is very fast. Yeah.
Thanks, Prakash.
Hemang, can you make your final
Yeah,
comments?
I think we've covered everything, right? I'm browsing through the chat box. It was particularly very nice to hear from all the experts and to know of their different initiatives, right? A lot of them are running incubators. They are encouraging students who are going to form, companies, and they're going to form their own startups. It was very good to hear, their appreciation also for the program. So indeed, thanks a lot for all of their time and their views. I'm not sure if there's any other question which we need to answer, right? Can Nahid, you or maybe Anirban, can you confirm that?
Yes, Hemang, we covered all questions. Now you can conclude the session, please.
So I'll have one last question about the L2 program. So there are a lot of programs which are offline, and I'm very happy about this L2 program, knowing wherein a lot of backup coming from industry, domain experts and organizations. And I'm going to expand to all my contacts to the best possible way. But one thing, is there a way we can do a complete hand-holding from step 1 to step 10, wherein the startup comes in that they want to go and file the patents or file their designs or provisional patents, etc. Can we do something like this if it is not included? I haven't gone through the syllabus, but I just have this query.
Yeah, Alokji, thank you for that question. Actually, I'll take two parts. I also thought of another part which I did not answer previously. So we do cover the broad steps which are required, but I want to also give a perspective on the I guess the target audience for this program. See, in our experience, when we work with startups, the people who are talking to us from the startup sides, they tend to have their roles as either they are the CEO, meaning they are the founders, or they are the CTOs, right? They are the technical brains of that. So the goal for this program is to make sure that they are fully aware of the opportunities which they have for IP. Think of it as a light bulb should go off in their heads whenever in their daily life they come across that, hey, here is something which we need to protect. Either it could be a trademark, it could be a design right, it could be patents. And from that point, they need to know at least broadly what the steps are before they contact the IP professionals. So the goal was not to make them IP experts, like not to make them say patent agents or patent counsels, but rather have the awareness that from a fully business perspective, how should they look at things?
Hey, Hemang, can I intervene here? I want to inform you that we have IP Facilitation Center, where we are providing all the services from drafting, prior art search to filing and prosecution, everything. If anyone has any kind of innovations with them, they can approach us, and we are providing very subsidized services, almost negligible cost. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Nayak. So the goal is for after someone goes through the L2 Pro app, they will have a very solid understanding of things, and depending, they may choose to become IP professionals themselves, or they can contact various facilitation centers, such as ARPFC. The other related question which I did not answer and recollected was the duration it will take for someone to actually go through the course. So each module, as Anirban mentioned, has an introductory video and a summary video. So in my just a pure personal opinion, although I've gone through the course material myself, is that you can spend 5 minutes per lesson at the bare minimum. There are 11 lessons, so you'll take about 1 hour to complete that entire course, and you should know most of the material. Now, of course, there are people who will be interested, and there are about 35 to 40 slides, per lesson. And there again, depending on the learner's interest, they may choose to spend more time or less time. So in my opinion, at the bare minimum, you're looking at maybe 1 hour to go through the entire course, and the upper end, that depends on the learner. Now,
Hemang, can I have a question? If you can share also the how many times the student can attempt, and what is the cutoff marks as well on the L2 Pro?
Right. So for each module, so there are 11 lessons are divided into 3 modules: basic, intermediate, and advanced. Now, you can go through the lessons as many number of times. You can download it on your device also, so you don't have to depend on the network to be there. So you can go through the lessons as many times as you want. There is a cutoff. Each module has an examination. There's a cutoff of 60% marks. So please be familiar, at least watch the summary video. Make sure your learning is there before you attempt the examination. And there are 3 attempts, per learner for each module. Right? So it's multiple choice. There are case studies also. So what we also try to do is that the modules are not just testing your memory. What we want to do is really make you practitioners. So there are case studies where you'll be given an example, like a real life example that you might be encountering. And if you were in that situation, how would you approach that IP problem? So approach it from that perspective. So again, to repeat, no limits on the number of times you can go through the module. You can download it on your device completely for free, no charge. You can take the exams maximum 3 times, and the cutoff marks are 60%.
Hemang sir, if you permit, can I put a question, please?
Sure.
My question is, if you could highlight, while drafting the curriculum of this course, why law? What is the importance of bringing law, management, costing, and finance, everything together from IP perspective? So why? For the students, I want students to understand this. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Professor Mini. So if you look at the structure of most companies, right, there are many functions, and like I'm referring the business management principles, right? You have, let's say, a sales function that people identify with, right? That sales drives the engine. You have the product creation function that could cover engineering also. You have the finance, which is looking at the financial management. The legal function is very important because at the end of the day, there are legal procedures which you have to follow. There are legal structures which you have to implement, and that can have a variety of things. There are, let's say, the contracts which you'll be having with different vendors, with say your customers and things of that nature. There is intellectual property also, which forms a big part of that. So for you to understand that the importance of that, right, it's not that something which you can just leave it aside. In today's world, it's very much a part and parcel of any entity, no matter what the size. And the other aspect is when it comes to especially intellectual property, you have to look at it as you are creating assets. So not just creating a one-off patent or something, not just creating one-off trademark. You have to look at it as a portfolio of assets which you are creating. And that is a very, valuable intangible property that you own, that the company owns, and it can be put to different uses to help your business. So to me, that is the core importance of having at least an outlook towards a legal function in a company.
Right. Sir. Thank you very much.
I think now we are end of the session. Hemang, if you permit, then we will end. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining this workshop. But this is just beginning, towards that capacity building program under the L2 Pro banner. We will continue of doing similar kind of workshops and webinars in coming months. Every month we are targeting one at least, so that we can maximize our reach to all the stakeholders. We will keep you posted about that future programs and development, and we will happy to connect you again very soon. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Great work, Nahid and ASSOCHAM team. Thanks so much for organizing this. And thanks so much to all the speakers. Thanks so much to all the speakers.
For this session.
Thanks.
Thank you for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks to all.
A wonderful session. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you all.